Welcome once again to Retirement Designed Differently with Billy Voyles, financial advisor and the founder of Fundamental Wealth Designs. I'm Spike Spangle. And Billy, gotta know what's on your mind this week.
Well, I think it's the top 10 questions retirees ask of us.
Okay, and let's go through the answers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's figure these things out. We definitely want you to know exactly what the process is like. So you can call the phone number, you can come into the office. We'll take you through these top 10 retirement planning questions. You've got to ask yourself, make sure that these boxes are checked off when you're getting yourself prepared for retirement. Billy, I think will probably pepper me with a few of them today.
Yeah.
I'll see where I'm doing, but
Yeah.
I'm not quite anywhere near retirement yet. I don't think you're going to let me retire for another 30 years. So, but I'll try to put myself in the seat of our viewers out there. But you also said in our pre-show that you were talking about growth. I guess we've been getting some phone calls from the show and from your live events, haven't you?
Yeah, and we've experienced a ton of growth over the past year, and we're excited to announce that we're opening a new office in the Eagan area. So it's about convenience for our clients. We've worked with them, and we sort of have been asking the question, like, how far would you drive to go see a financial advisor? So opening an Eagan office will really give us sort of convenience for all of those in the South Metro. I've hired a great friend of mine, a great advisor, Ryan Dillon, that's going to end up being the lead advisor in that Eagan office. And he's going to be able to sit down with clients just the way we are and follow the same process and be able to give clients the same exact service, but just in a more convenient location for the folks down in Lakeville or Apple Valley or Shakopee. You know, that new Eagan location is just going to give you a great opportunity to have an office that's, you know, within that 20-minute drive, which is seemingly what people wanted and desired. So we gave it to them.
All right, the growth going on for you, but we want to let you know that wherever you're at in our viewing audience, if you're watching the program, if you've got a retirement planning question, if you'd like to talk with Billy Voyles and the team, you can call the phone number when it comes up right there down on the bottom of the screen. You can open up your phone to the camera function and point it at this QR code right over here and also take you over to the website. You can schedule an appointment, no cost, or you can just hop on the phone for 15 minutes when you schedule that appointment, and you can talk with one of the advisors, say, this is what's on my mind. And then we can help you figure out if you need to come into the office or not. That's one of the great things. But for somebody who's never been into your office, let's go through some of the questions, but I want to start with this one. Once a couple comes in, they sit down with you, what's usually the first thing that's on their mind?
I think the most common question is, when can we retire? They're just really, they're looking out and they're concerned, or, they're wondering, can we retire at all? Or if we can retire, can we retire now? It's around the dates and timings of it. So let's go through just a few important ages to consider. 59 and a half, oddly enough, this random age that the government decided is when you have access to your 401ks at your current company. So that's a great day to start planning, because you actually have access to make choices and change with your current 401k. Age 62 is the starting age you could take Social Security. Age 65 is Medicare. You have access to Medicare at that point. So sort of health care becomes more affordable in retirement. 67 is a full retirement age from your Social Security. And then age 70 is the sort of the latest people want to wait to retire typically. But that's when you get your full Social Security, meaning you actually get your growth of your Social Security, but that's the maximum. So you don't want to go past then. So those are some of the specific ages, but when is really all related back to them and their scenario.
Are we getting as much today about early retirement, wanting to retire at 62? I know I've read a lot of stuff where millennials, younger generation, are thinking, I'm going to retire in my late 50s. Yeah. But we're looking at possibly 25, 30, 35 years of retirement and spending. So I did notice that is one of your first questions, is how much money will you need to live your desired lifestyle? Are you talking about monthly, or are you talking about total over the rest of your retirement? How do you figure out that number?
Yeah, and let's again, the question is, how much money will you need in retirement to maintain your desired lifestyle? And we want to look at a monthly budget, more or less, to figure out, what do we need to pay bills? What do we need to buy food? What do we need to take that trip? What do we need to enjoy retirement the way it's meant to enjoy? So one of the ways we want to do this is we want to look at your budget. But people come in and they're all over the place with budgets. So some people are the accounting type and they know to the penny. Like, I spent $6,459 last month Other people come in and they don't have a clue within $2,000-3,000 what they spend a month. So what we ask them to do is basically go through your last 6 or 12 months of expenses and come up with an average of what's going out the door every month. So we can have a base understanding is if you just continue to live the life you want to live, what are you spending? That's what we want to sort of start with. So that's what we, that's how we direct them to get to where we want.
And then between couples, sometimes we don't know what we're both spending. Are you one like me where you feel like the Amazon delivery driver is part of the family?
Yes.
There are boxes. I should have gone into the cardboard industry. Serious. I have more boxes on my front porch every single day. I'm like, where does this come from?
Yeah.
When couples don't know each other's spending habits, this can also be cause for friction.
Yep.
Are you sometimes kind of a behavioral therapist between couples?
Yes, I am. Free couples therapy happens in our office. We don't charge for that, although we are definitely involved in that sometimes. And couples treat it differently. If you're out there and you treat your finances different, we work with a lot of families where the couples, they're married, but they basically treat their finances differently, and we can handle it. We like to be aware of both sort of sides of it for tax planning purposes. That's where we really need to focus in on is the tax planning aspect when people do it separately. But we can certainly handle and work with a lot of families that do so. The third question that gets asked a lot is what sources of income will you have in retirement? So that's one thing. In your future retirement, where's your income going to come from?
That's a funny question because we always hear this word income with retirement, and I'm like, I don't have an income. That's the whole point is I don't want to be working anymore.
Yeah.
The only thing I was thinking of was Social Security. So do you consider income what I'm taking then from my investments? I'm creating the income from that?
Yeah, you're going to have to because it's going to have to come from somewhere. You're going to have to pay your bills. So where is that income going to come from? If it's dividends, fantastic. If it's a pension, fantastic. If it's an annuity, fantastic. We just want to know and understand what are your sources of income that you have coming in so we can plan for it from an income and tax standpoint.
And the consumer out there haven't created that yet.
Yeah.
That's the point. So will you help me
Yeah.
create that income? For instance, which accounts would I take from first? Is it me? Is it the spouse? Do I take the larger ones? Do I use the smaller ones? Where do I get started?
Yeah, those are all great questions, and that's the questions that we answer. So you all have Social Security, one way, shape, or another. You may or may not have a pension. And that's where income planning sort of starts, is with Social Security's pensions. But then we look at, okay, now you got this big bucket of money. What are we going to do with it? We have 5, 6, 7 different accounts, Billy. Where do we take the first $1,000 from first? That's all of what we do when we do our retirement design differently for you. And when we say different, we're just different than most. We're not different from everybody. We have partners around the country that march the same planning path that we do because it makes sense for folks. If you want income that's going to make sure that you're covered for the rest of your life, then that's what we do in our income plan. Then we look at our tax plan. For our tax plan, we want to help you pay the least amount of tax legally possible over the rest of your life. Then we look at your investments. We look at your investments and we can lower your fees a lot at times in your investments, and we can help maximize your return for the risk you're taking. And we tidy it up with the estate planning and the long-term care planning. And if you're out there and this is the type of planning you're looking for holistic planning that tackles all of the questions that we're going to go through today, give us a call. Pick up the phone and call us at 888-379-1846. We got a team standing by, and they can put an appointment directly on our calendar so we can speak with you and get you started on your process to get that retirement designed for you.
Call the phone number right now so you can set up your appointment for your own fundamental wealth design for retirement. We'll continue with more questions you need to ask yourself before you go into retirement when we get back after this. Dial the phone number. More with Billy Voyles right after this.
I went into real estate in college. Part of the reason why I went into real estate is I got a phone call from my father informing me that he had cancer at the time. And my father was an HR director for corporate America. Got up early at 6, out the door at 6, and home at 6:30, and traveled. And I termed it that he worked for the man, and I wasn't going to work for the man. I was going to go get rich in real estate. But little did I know, the markets in Michigan were crashing and everything else. And so back to the fundamentals I went, which was go to school, get a job, work hard, get promoted, start saving money, and go from there. And the first job I got out of college was actually in financial services. And for the past 12 years, I had spent 1.5 million miles on an airplane to work with advisors. Financial advisors were my clients, and I was teaching them and consulting with them on how to grow their businesses. And I really just had to get off the road. I couldn't be what I wanted to be as a father to my family and as a husband to my wife by being on the road as much as I was. So the crazy next step in after having a fourth kid was quitting my job and launching this business, which is Fundamental Wealth Design. So it was a bit of an abrupt right turn, but it was all for the right reasons.
Welcome back to Retirement Designed Differently with financial advisor Billy Voyles. He's the founder of Fundamental Wealth Designs. I'm Spike Spangle, and we're talking about some of the most important questions you, our viewers, need to ask yourself before going into retirement, to prepare for retirement. What's next? You said you needed to go rapid fire.
Yeah, we want to get through the 10. So the next one is, what is your risk tolerance for your investments? And usually people label this, I'm conservative, I'm moderate, or I'm growth oriented. But we have a tool that really narrows down, and it actually looks like a speed limit sign, but it provides us with a very specific risk tolerance number for you. And that's part of our tailoring portfolio specifically for you. One of the things we also look at is, do you understand sequence of returns risk, which are the order of which returns come to you in the stock market. This is extremely important for retirees and something we talk about our workshops. So you might want to come to one of our workshops in order to understand what sequence of returns means for you. Another question to ask, how will inflation impact your retirement savings and your income? The good news for you, retirees today, is inflation has actually helped savers, right? Things are costing more money, but if you have assets to invest, you can make more interest on the money you have. So utilizing tools in order to take advantage of the high interest rate environment actually can turn a negative into a positive. And we have a bunch of tools at our disposal in order to help you take advantage of the current high interest rates. But again, it's a question you need to ask, because inflation, if it ticks along at 3 or 4%, your income needs to double in retirement in order to keep up with the standard of living.
Right. To give you a second to breathe here, I'm going to do number 6. You said, what are your health care and your long-term care coverages and needs? Have you started to plan that out? Look, if you were asking me that question, I mean, I know that there's eventually Medicare, but I don't think Medicare covers long-term care, from what I've learned from you. Went to one of your live events. I don't like individual long-term care policies, but I think there are other tools. I don't know. I've also actually heard that one of your largest expenses in retirement could be your health care costs, not your food, not maybe your taxes. That could be a tithe, but what you spend in health care. What do couples spend in health care costs in retirement?
I mean, couples could spend upwards of $500,000 in retirement. It's $250,000 per person is a common sort of number when you consider what you're going to pay for costs, and if you bring in long-term care, it's a huge thing. So we want to know and understand that. Now, I meet with clients all the time, and again, that's why we do this show, is because we are a real advisor. We sit with clients, and they have different thoughts and feelings on everything. Some of you make the joke like, I'm not going to go into a nursing home, just take me out back, you know? And it's like, it's a joke, but it's like, no, they're going to live it out at home no matter what, if they have caretakers. Other people are really interested in exploring and understanding what their options are for long-term care. So again, it's a question. We have to have a conversation with you to figure out what your needs are, what your wants are, and then health history and family history. Do you have a family history of dementia and Alzheimer's? That opens a whole can of worms, because now we have this concept of this elongated need for health care or long-term care. It might be 8, 10, 15 years, whereas if it's more physically debilitating, you know, that usually is only 2 to 3 years of care that we need to be concerned with. So long-term care becomes huge, but of course, we want to talk about taxes. So what is your plan for managing taxes in retirement is the next question that we want to talk about.
Moving to Fiji.
Yeah.
No, that can't be a plan. So but my plan for managing them, I don't know. I think I have to pay them, since I've been tax deferring them my entire lifetime. I mean, that's the thing, is I know that I get the tax break this year. 401ks, even annuities get growth with tax deferral, but I figure I'm going to have to pay that eventually, right?
Yeah. And you will have to pay the piper on the tax-deferred accounts. But again, there's a strategic way to do it. Then we could sort of set you up in order to pay the least amount of tax possible over your entire lifetime. So that's one of the things we want to make sure we work with clients on, but we need to know the bigger picture to know and understand sort of where you're at with your particular tax situation.
Right.
You know, how do you feel? Because you joke about Fiji, but the one thing that gets brought up all the time, there's a few of them. There's Costa Rica, gets brought up a lot. Panama, we actually have some clients who have gone to Panama, or at least wintered there. Portugal is a super hot topic lately as far as people are looking into that very closely to figure out to really leave the country. But again, you can't take your IRA and not pay taxes and just go live in another country. That's not how it works. So if your plan is to move to another country, I fully support it, and we're fully on board with it, and we'd love to work with you if you wanted to be an expat. We can figure it out. But again, there are steps that need to be taken in order to set you up, in order to live that life you want to live elsewhere, considering you still have all your taxes to be paid here.
I think it's because I'm in this industry with you, but it seems like every single day there's some sort of article online that pops up on my feed that's talking about living abroad somewhere. I'm like, why do I keep seeing this stuff? But there are tax implications. There's your Social Security implications. But that's a whole nother. I really do think a whole nother show.
Yeah.
Are you wanting to live abroad,
Yeah.
but keep your citizenship? It's complex.
Yeah, but one of the real questions is, are you going to live in Minnesota or Wisconsin, or do you want to move to one of the other states that pays less in tax? So we have a lot of folks looking at Tennessee or Arizona or Nevada or the Dakotas, depending on sort of your preference for winters or not. A lot of more people, they're looking at your Floridas or Tennessee, South Carolina's areas
Texas,
with lower state, in Texas, great one, with lower state income tax. We need to know that, because if we're doing tax planning for you and we're doing distributions now and paying a 7% Minnesota state tax, where in 2 to 3 years you would be a resident of another state and pay 0 state income tax, we need to know that and be aware of it. And again, these are all the questions that we ask in our first meeting to really sit down and get to know people about what your particular situation is. So again, if you want to come in and go through these 10 questions about your particular retirement with us and sit down with that foundation meeting, and for you to get a chance to ask us any questions you have of us. What is it like to do business with us? What are our processes? What should you expect of us? You should come with a list of questions you can ask us so you can get comfortable doing business with us as well. We want you to be prepared for that first appointment so you can be confident in taking the steps to hire us as your advisor. So give us a call to schedule that first sit down. It's 888-379-1846. We got 3 questions left to cover after the break, but I'll kick it over to my friend Spike to give the real transition.
As Billy Voyles said here, call the phone number down on the bottom of the screen. One of the questions we were just doing was on tax efficiency. We've been getting a lot of questions on Roths, Roth conversions, Roth contributions, and what Billy did here was put together a book for you. So when you call the phone number, schedule an appointment, we'll give you a complimentary copy of the book during the appointment as well. Billy might even sign it for you. Call the phone number right now. Use that QR code as well. You can open up your phone to the camera function, scan this QR code, and it'll pop you over to the website. You can schedule your appointment right there, or you can go to the website right now during this very short break. It's all about Billy. Don't go anywhere. This commercial message tells us a little bit more about the firm. Go to fundamentalwd.com. More with Billy Voyles right after this.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter. The one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Retirement Designed Differently with financial advisor Billy Voyles. He's the founder of Fundamental Wealth Designs. This is our favorite part of the show here. You might need a financial advisor if, what is it today, Billy?
And you might need a financial advisor if you want answers to these questions, right? We're going through the top 10 questions that you need to ask yourself and ask of us of your retirement picture. And if you want answers, if you want solutions, you might need an advisor to work with you in order to get those solutions.
We've gone through how much do you need to retire, what income needs will you have in a retirement, risk tolerance, inflation, healthcare, taxes. This truly is holistic. What else is left on the list? What haven't we talked about?
Number 8 that I have is, do you have a will, a power of attorney, and a healthcare directive in place, which, we did a show last week on estate planning, which really covers the details. If you want to check that out, we have it on our YouTube channel. We sort of upload all of our episodes there, so you can check it out there. But estate planning is one thing that we just want to make sure gets taken care of. And I joked last week, I'll tell it again, because it is something that you need to get around to. So I have a friend in Kansas City, an advisor in Kansas City, that made a whole bunch of little wooden tokens with the word "to it" on it. And it's because people kept telling him, "I'm sorry, Alan, I just haven't got around to it yet." So he literally made a whole bunch of wooden tokens with the word "to it." So whenever they said that, "I haven't got around to it," he slide that round "to it" over to them. No more excuses. Time to just take care of it. So we really just want to make sure that we take care of estate planning. It's really not that complicated. We have estate planning partners that we can set you up with and get that taken care of. And if that's all you want, please give us a call. We'll set you up with a trusted estate planning firm in order to take care of that for you. Next, and this is a big one, and it's, have you considered the impact of your Social Security benefits? When to take it, how to take it, what's the proper way to take it? Spike, Social Security can be $1 million throughout your retirement.
It's almost like, so when do you want to start your $1 million? Or do you want it to be 1.4 million? Or do you want it to be 700,000? And I read somewhere that the vast majority of Americans, almost 90% of people who are on Social Security, take it by their full retirement age, foregoing those extra growth years. And there's a lot of folks today saying they want to take it as early as 62, as soon as they possibly can. There are fears of it running out, not being there. Are these valid? Is this something that they should be worried about? What's your opinion at the firm?
Yeah, I think there is and when we do our workshops, we give sort of facts and opinions on Social Security. And I think our real opinion on this is that there is a risk to Social Security, but we think it lies in underperformance as compared to inflation. So yes, there's this Social Security trust, and it's even on your statement that they say that they could lower your payment in 2034 by 20%. Do I think that'll happen? Frankly, no, I don't think that'll happen, because you'll stop voting for them, whoever they are. And all they want is for you to vote for them and for them to stay in Washington. That's all they really want. They just want their cushy government jobs.
Yeah. But what I'm worried about, just to take the other side on it, is that it's going to become like the debt and the budget, that it's going to be an annual argument of how we're going to continue to fund the Social Security and who's going to do it. And you're right, it's this mess that we should, you've worked for 30, 40, 50 years, you should be able to get your full amount. There shouldn't have to be this worry.
Yeah, but our opinion is the government will just print more money like they're good at, and then therefore Social Security checks will underperform inflation. So you need to go seek out other sources that are going to sort of tackle that inflation for you. The next one is really have you factored in unexpected expenses, emergencies, or major repairs? And this one's near and dear to us because, again, my father, if you've seen our videos and commercials in between, my father was diagnosed with cancer in 2019. And that throws a big wrench in sort of my parents' retirements. And we've seen it from clients where stuff like that happens, whether it's a stroke or cancer, a health event, you get laid off earlier than you expected. There's the unexpected. And we really try to focus on creating a plan that can handle the unexpected, because most advisors out there, they just want to create these rosy outcomes for you, and they don't consider bumps in the roads along the way. If a retirement can last 20 or 25 years, think of all the unforeseen circumstances that happened to you in the last decade of your life. Now project that out in the future and imagine now you have a decade, 2 decades, 3 decades worth of your retirement. Do you think everything's just going to work out as planned? It absolutely isn't. So you need to sort of address all these sort of unforeseen circumstances and have solutions to those issues. One of the big ones is an early spouse passes away, right? And one of the things that people don't think about is the fact that now you only have one Social Security benefit. And you probably lost $18,000 to $20,000 of income per year. And how does that impact your investments? How does that impact your retirement plan? But no one wants to bring that up because no one wants to talk about those roadblocks that can really derail a retirement. They just want to paint this picture of you're 65, here's your money, and they show you this rainbow sort of hey, your money's going to last till 95, the market's going to do 8%, you'll be just fine. But that's not how life really happens.
Yeah, we've got to plan for those unexpecteds, but some of those unexpecteds are expected. We know of increase of costs. We say even in an average inflationary rate of, let's just call it 3%, that means the cost of goods and services is doubling every 13, 14, 15 years, right?
Yeah.
And when it's really high, as it has been lately, we know that it just costs more. And this could be everything from insurance, needing to replace the roof on the house, needing to replace an automobile. Automobile prices don't seem to be going down. So we need to factor in what you might think is unexpected. We are going to have to wrap up the program. We've gone through 10 questions. This is holistic. Tell folks exactly what the process is like for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So what you would be calling in to request today is an appointment to sit down with one of our advisors for our foundation meeting. And we want to dive in with you to talk about income in retirement, to talk about expenses in retirement, to talk about tax planning, to talk about your investment planning and your risk tolerance. How much risk are you willing to take on your assets? Your current portfolios, we can review them for fees and expenses. And then we'll get into your estate planning and leaving that wonderful legacy behind for the next generation. And all you need to do is take that first step and pick up the phone and call our team at 888-379-1846, and we'll schedule your appointment today.
Thank you so much, Billy Voyles. Also want to let folks know, you call that phone number, schedule an appointment. We'll give you a complimentary copy of Billy's book, To Roth or Not to Roth. You can go to the website, fundamentalwd.com, and schedule your own appointment. Or it's real simple. There are people standing by right now. Call the phone number down on the bottom of the screen. Get your holistic retirement plan done with the team here at Retirement Designed Differently and Fundamental Wealth Designs. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.